I know in the middle of a recession, buying pictures is hardly on most people's list of priorities, but it doesn't need to cost the earth. Art buying collectives have been appearing up and down the country, allowing members to share the cost and share the art. One such group has been pooling its resources for over 10 years. Alistair Sook casts his eye over their acquisitions.
Peckham, South London. And on the rooftop of a disused car park, the art scene has gathered for the opening of a pop-up sculpture exhibition. Among the crowd is a group of art buyers with a difference. Calling themselves The Collective, they're a group of friends taking a cooperative approach to buying and collecting art.
The idea may seem counterintuitive that collecting is an intensely individual activity. We do it as a group.
For 10 years, this group has been pooling its resources to build a collection of contemporary art which they rotate around their homes. I've come to the house of one of the founding members of this bunch of art buyers.
Hello, Paul.
Alistair, come in.
Thanks.
Art buyers not motivated by investment, but by the experience of living with art at home.
Do your perceptions of the works change?
They often change, through having the work at home, through living with it, through seeing it every day. It's a very different experience to going into a gallery and seeing a work for, maybe 2 minutes, fleetingly.
How much money do you typically have to spend in a year?
It's very modest. We contribute £35 a month per household, and there are 7 households in our group, so it's not a huge financial commitment.
And you can build up over the course of a few years quite a substantial collection of contemporary art.
You can, and we've now got, I think, in excess of 40 lovely pieces, in our collection.
To accumulate the work, a couple of times a year, members of the group take it in turn to choose and buy the next piece of art, from galleries or directly from artists.
It must be quite difficult to buy art for a whole group. Is that hard?
You don't buy it for the group.
You don't?
It's up to the purchasing panel. It's their tastes on that particular occasion and what they decide to do.
So how much do you have to spend tonight?
£1,500.
£1,500?
Yep.
And do you know what you want?
Not really. We're coming for an experience, I think, to find out about the artist.
Let's meet artist number 1. All right.
It's an unconventional way to buy art, but it gives the purchasing panel a chance to meet the artists and find out more about their work.
I'm Ellie.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Mary-Louise. Pleased to meet you, Paul.
Thank you.
Could you talk us through some?
All right, well, here is a passage that I quite enjoy.
Sorry.
So that happens to have evolved from a bit of a silly idea that I had of dodos with a line of 3 dodos' heads.
Okay.
But I thought it was a bit too much having the dodos in the forest. I thought it's just too silly, So I started to work on top of them. For me, that's kind of how painting works.
Yeah.
For every kind of answer that you're hoping for, you get a question that comes up at the same time.
On to artist number 2.
My work mainly is about identity and isolation, that sense of non-communication. And there are a lot of cats in my work, which are almost the sort of malevolent alter ego. And they're not easy works, and they're not easy household size.
It's the final studio visit.
It'd be really helpful if you could give us some background to what you do and why you do it.
Well, my work is exploring the line between the theatrical and the real.
Can you tell us about this one? I'm quite fascinated with this one here.
Generally, I don't like to give a history behind the images so that you can invent your own.
I like that.
I like that. I really like that.
Friendships and brotherhood.
But what do you feel? I feel like there was quite a strong response for one person there.
We were most positive about Rhiannon, the last artist we saw.
And also the fact that she is a new emerging artist.
Is that important for the collective?
I think that was one of our founding intentions, wasn't it? To support emerging artists rather than people who are very established.
I'm not sure though whether we like the work, Rhiannon's work, enough to want to buy.
So, no purchase today. But the group does have some new pieces to share, and they need to decide who will get what. Twice a year, the collective bring their entire collection together to rotate and exchange it.
So this is it. This is all of. Wow.
Well, it's not all of them because there's some more next door in the living room. This is what normally happens. People, you know, we tend to have a quiet room, and then people come in here and spend a bit of time quietly whilst the sort of social chatting goes on next door, and then decide which one they're going to go for as their first, second and third choice.
I see. I've got to ask, do the exchange ever... there must be some disputes sometimes. It's going, right, no, I want that. Does that happen?
Yeah, you do. Oh, we have had that.
It's usually people want to go for the latest work.
There are some pieces here that I would particularly like to get. They're among my favourite pieces, actually.
And why do you like them, Bob?
They've grown on me over the years. Superficially, like simple drawings, but when you have them on your wall, this one in particular has great depth and movement and dynamism.
That's by an artist called Simon Callery.
What about you, Ben?
I quite fancy the Fiona banner.
I'm going to be making a case for the Bobby Downer, of course.
The new work.
Now that it's installed in the living room next door.
It's not going anywhere.
It can't go. It's been specially positioned there.
And this is it, the Bobby Dowler painting that the group bought a few months ago.
So we're going to move into the actual exchange now then. The usual rules apply. Everyone starts off with their first preferences. OK, so who wants to start? Sam.
Bobby Downer.
Bobby Downer.
Okay, we're going for Bobby Downer.
Yeah, Midge, we were going to go for
Bobby Downer.
Bobby Downer.
Stirs and pots. Yeah. Okay, let's do
So because more than one household actually want a Bobby Dowler painting, they're going to put it to a vote. Each person gets one vote. The couple with the most votes takes the painting home.
Who'd like to vote for Sam and Ellen? OK, 3 votes for Sam and Ellen. 5 votes for Paul and Midge.
5?
Tim and Mary Louise. 2 votes.
Paul and Midge win the vote, so for the next 6 months, they'll live with the Bobby Dowler painting.
I haven't been doing any of the choosing. I feel like I've been through the rigour.
I know, it's exhausting, isn't it?
I'm also quite jealous.
Poor old Alistair looks like he'll have to wait at least another 6 months.